Hello B-52 type people, how are we getting on? This is a video regarding the B-52 build that's coming up. It's called a beginner's build because it's basically aimed at beginners. Some people have said it's not a beginner's model. I think anybody with one or two kits under their belt would have no problem with this at all. And I mean, yep, it's big. It's a big old brute of a thing, but you know, there's no more to it really than most older, simpler kits. You know, it's not as complex as the AMT. In some areas, it's more complex in other areas. It's a little toy-like with its working flaps and working spoilers and stuff. But I think anybody who's contemplating this will be absolutely fine. And I'll have me to guide them along, and they can ask me questions and stuff. But I just wanted to do this video because one thing I'm very concerned about is people buying these kits. They're all going to be old, and we're looking at decal problems. The other problem is fit, a couple of fit issues, and also paint. So especially for the newer modelers out there, like I say, if you're an experienced modeler, you're probably going to tell me what I'm saying is wrong, correct, whatever. That's not what this video is all about. I'm going to talk about FS codes and paint numbers and everything, and available paint manufacturers. And people say, oh no, that's not the right match for this one, that is a better match, and blah blah blah. Yeah, all right. This is a plane that was absolutely had the living daylights hammered out of it, flying in Vietnam all the time, blazing sunshine, rain and God knows what. And when you look at a lot of the aircraft, they're faded to hell, they're covered in dirt and marks and streaks and God knows what. So really, when you start talking about accuracy of FS colours, I don't think it really applies. But I've certainly had a look online for correct colours for this model, and it's very confusing. So God only knows how confusing it would be to somebody who's new to it all. So I'm just going to give you a simple guide with a couple of different manufacturers and tell you what colours I think you should use. So let's get to the bench and have a look and see what it is I'm talking about. Okay, so you've probably seen one of my first videos all about this, which was done last weekend. And basically I talked there about all the different kits available and the different kit numbers and everything. Basically I've got two here. They're both the same model. This one's 1999 and this one's 1986 and 1989. So this is the Revell long narrow box with the blue outer cover and the Florida logo on it, the nose art, which I think is the same as the Hasegawa conglomeration kit. And then this one is the one that I showed you that I've got with the very big the very big box with the grey plastic inside, and this is the one I'm going to be building. Now, I mentioned decals. One of the biggest issues with these old kits is going to be these decals. You can see here, these decals are, the paper is seriously yellowed. But you can basically, if you want to bring the colour back, you just put them on a windowsill and leave them so they're facing the daylight for a couple of days, and they will come back brilliant white again. But it's the paper that's gone yellow, and the carrier film may have gone as well. But the biggest problem with these decals is they look absolutely fine, but quite often with old decals, like you'll cut this one out, you put it in the water, it just all cracks apart. Now you can paint them with like a gloss varnish and then just let it dry, and then when you cut them out, make sure you cut very close to the edge, or you could cut them out first, you know, very nice and close to the edge, and then varnish them, and that will help them stay together. But it really isn't worth fussing about. If you've got one of these old kits and it's got this old decal set in it, get over onto Hannants.com or Hannants.co.uk, I think it is, and you can get these. Now this is the Allmark decal set, and that is a total sum of £2.99. So I've bought two sets. So basically there's your decal sheet there, so make sure we're not glaring out in the light. So you can see you've got the shark's teeth there that you need. You haven't got your stars and bars, so you'd have to use them, but the rest of it you've got on here. So really, or you need a USAF for the wing as well, but basically you've got a lot of what you need there. So you've got your different insignias, and also you've got all these different options to use them on all these different aircraft. So this one here is the D, this one here is an F. So you would be doing this version here, which you'd use the kit instructions. So basically, that's one way around it. If you want to get these decals, you can get those from other kits. You can get decal sheets that just have them on. As I say, you could spray these with varnish and use them if you want to. The other thing you could do is get hold of a set of these. Now these are the, if you've seen some of the older Revell kits, they used to come with a yellow flash in the corner on the box. It said Super Decal, and that's what these are. And I got a feeling they're Cartograph because it says printed in Italy. So I got a feeling they're probably Cartograph, but you can see it's a very comprehensive decal set. You've got all your walkway markings and everything. Probably better off painting them. I'm going to be showing you how to do that in the build. We've also got these black marks here. They're for the windows. We'll probably cut them out. So basically you can see on there you've got two different choices. You've got your nose art there, which is Orlando, where the action is, and then you've got Big Country Bomber from Texas. So there you go. And then you've got your stencil date and everything down here. So you may be able to find a set of these on eBay. You may even have this kit. So there's your decal issue sorted out. Okay. Now when you look at these instructions, as far as painting goes, it always tells you on both of them, it tells you to use these FS colours. Now if you look on this one, it's exactly the same. Okay, so there's nothing that actually says use Revell number 107 or Tamiya XF blah blah blah. So I've done a little bit of research and done a little bit of digging, and I've done this for you guys because it can be quite confusing. People make typos, and also you'll find that some of the references may be quite old. So Tamiya keeps expanding its range. It's like it's got a whole new range of German armour colours now. So you know, so basically if it was done say 10 years ago, they may have called up a certain colour from the Tamiya range because there wasn't a more accurate colour available. And as I said, if people start arguing with you and telling you you're using the wrong colour, it should be this shade and that is it's got more of a yellow shade to it, go and look at some B52s and have a look at what state they're in, and believe me, it doesn't really matter because they get faded by the sun, they get attacked by all the different weathers and everything. So you know, and you see a lot of them looking very, very blotchy. If you really want to build a nice replica one of these, you could have a whole month weathering it because you could really, really go to town with the weathering. Some of these things are so beat up, it's untrue. Now, first bone of contention is here. FS17038, the one indicates it's a gloss. So basically, all of this black should be gloss. Now, I don't want to do it gloss. I don't think gloss ever looks scale. Even on like aircraft that are really glossy, I think it just looks too toy-like. Unless it's big, I mean this is quite big, but something like an AN124, an AN225, it needs to be gloss because it's a big old lump of white plastic. But something like a 144 scale 747, I like to see it just toned down a bit. So with this, I'm going to be working with semi-glosses and mattes and using the different techniques to get a nice looking effect rather than just have it like a black canvas. So, and we've got loads of different black colours we can use. So you know, and remember, none of it would have been black. Black is absolute black. This is going to be NATO black, tyre black. We've got the tyre black from MRP. We've got tyre black from Mr. Hobby. We've got a rubber black from Tamiya. We've got actual black. Black's coming out of our ears. So basically all the different colours, and we can use all them and shade them and get them in. So 34201 is like a tan colour. 34159 is called a slate greeny colour, and 34079 is a darker green. So you basically got your tan, your medium green and your dark green. Now with Tamiya, if you are a beginner and you're going to be brush painting your model, I wouldn't recommend getting Tamiya. But if you're going to be using an airbrush, maybe you're a beginner, you've got an airbrush and you want to try it out, great to have something big like this to try it out on. The colours you want to use are XF49, which is very, very close to 34201. XF65, which is actually called Field Grey, but you can see it's like I use this as a Russian green. Now, the funny thing is, the colour that is called up is a slate grey or something, and this is called Field Grey, but it's actually a green colour. So XF49, XF65. When it comes to 34079, there's a million different colours for it. Now, the references I've found is XF61, XF27 and XF13. So there's 61, there's 13, and there's 27. And you can see, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but they are very, very similar, except for this one, which is a more greeny colour. So if you're going for a sort of brighter, newer aircraft, perhaps use that one. If you want something that's a bit well worn and torn, use one of those two. And you can see this is a little bit more grey than that one. When you put them together, you can choose which green you want to go with. Now I think I'm going to go with the 61. That's the 60, no, that's the 27, sorry. Go with the 27. And I think that is going to look great, okay, over the black. And then when we do a bit of fading and a bit of weathering and stuff, it's going to look lovely. Now remember, these colours on here are not the same as on your F4s or whatever. If you've done an F4 Wild Weasel or a 105, they're not the same colours. So that's your Tamiya. Now if you are going to be brush painting, other than the smell, I would recommend going for Humbrol. Now Humbrol is an enamel paint, it brushes beautifully, and you get a nice big brush and you brush it out and it'll look lovely. Thin it down a little bit, perhaps with some enamel thinners, and then just brush it out. Don't overbrush it, don't get loads of brush marks, and I think it'll look absolutely great. So with that one, you want number 116 for the dark green, 117 for the green, and 118 for the tan. So that's 116, 117, 118. Okay? Now Vallejo also do, these is Vallejo Model Air. Ignore the Model Air bit, it brushes beautifully. You can brush with this paint. I've never tried it on large areas like this, but you will need to prime it. One of the biggest downsides with Vallejo paint, it doesn't bond well to plastic at all. So I would thoroughly recommend, what we do is get a black primer, something like a Halford's aerosol. If you haven't got an airbrush, get a Halford's aerosol black primer and paint the whole thing black. Okay, and then you can brush this on and it'll be absolutely fine. I'm tempted to use Vallejo, one reason only: it's not solvent based. So we can spray it to our heart's content and not worry about masks. I'll probably wear a mask because there's so much of it, but basically they do a set. So you've got the Vallejo is 71023 in the Model A. You've got the 71 is all of them, and then the 047 there, that's the number you're looking for. So 71023 is the green, 71294 is the dark green, and 71329 is the tan. Now they all refer exactly to these numbers. The Tamiya paints don't. So probably, for more accuracy, probably the Vallejo is probably the better one to go for. But they also do a set, which is 71204, which is a set of 8 paints. So you're only going to be using 4 of them. But they've also got the other paints, and remember I said the Phantom and the F105 and everything is a different shade. So you've got those colours in there as well. So 71204 is a set, and as I say, you get 8 of them, and that set is £15.98 at the moment on eBay from a guy called Dave Coley. I think it's Dave Coley Emporium. Now if you go to somewhere like E-Models, I think it's $19.99, and then you've got your £3 on postage. But $15.98 with free postage from eBay. Thoroughly recommend, if you are building this model, get that set. I've ordered a set, so that's what I'm going to be using. Obviously prime it first, and then we'll go in with the Model Air afterwards, and we'll thin that a little bit as well. If you are using an airbrush and you haven't used Model Air before, get yourself some airbrush thinners. Use this. Don't try using water and stuff with this. Just go and spend the money on this, and don't ever try and use any other types of thinners. I think the UMP thinner works with everything with this, but I'm not sure. If I were you, for what it's worth, go and get yourself a bottle of this one. You can get a smaller bottle as well. It thins Vallejo paint, does a wonderful job of it. Vallejo paint goes down nicely, it will go down smoothly, it will dry fairly fast, and it doesn't stink. The only downside, as I say, is it doesn't stick very well to the plastic. So, there we go. And believe it or not, you won't use that much on this because you're only actually spraying the top sections of the aircraft. So yes, the wings are fairly big, but you're only spraying the tops of them. The fuselage, you're only spraying the top of it, so it's only like a sort of 1.25 inch wide band this long. It's not, very much at all. So there we go. So that's generally the paints we're going to talk about. This moves me on to our next bit you're going to need to prepare yourself for. The engine assemblies. Now I've had an email from a guy, Steve, who's basically said that there is a problem with putting these engines together. So I've had a look and I've assembled one from an old Revell kit, and he is dead right. So this is the engine halves glued together. This is the one without the end. Some of them, they get a display engine. Where are we? Here we go. So this is the standard engine assembly here. Okay, so you're just putting the top and bottom halves together, and then you've got the jet pipe going in the back, which is a nice touch. And then you put the pylon on. So basically you glue these together, and then you fit the front intakes on here. And basically the front intakes are too big. You can see there's a massive step there. If I get the bottom flush and level there, on the top there's a huge step. Okay, so you want to get yourself some plastic card. Now I've measured the step, and it's about 0.35 millimeters. So a 10 thou piece of plastic card, which is 0.25 millimeters, won't be enough. So you want to get yourself a piece of plastic card. This is thicker than 0.5, I think, but you can get this on eBay. You can find it on Amazon. It generally comes in an A4 sheet or 9x12 or whatever. You need some 0.5 plastic card. Now some people may say you can use credit cards and stuff like that, but most of them aren't styrene. This is styrene. You need to make sure it's styrene sheet, not PVC, and then it will work. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue 2 strips of this to our engine halves, let it go hard, and then we're going to sand it back slightly, and we can dry fit them together, and we can keep going until our engine fronts fit beautifully. And what we'll do is we'll get them to fit beautifully on the bottom, because we've got all this detail here we don't want to sand away, and then the top there's no detail, so we can afford to do a bit of sanding on the top. We want to try and leave the bottom and the sides alone. So that's something you need to get yourself ready for. Get yourself a piece of 0.5 plastic card. You'll use it in millions of different ways, and you can also use it for making sprue goo. If you don't know what sprue goo is, go back and look at some more videos. So there we go. So I've covered decals, I've covered paint, and I've covered that. So that's what you need to be getting yourself. If your kit decals are okay, then great, you don't need to worry about anything. Otherwise, look at those aftermarket ones. Have a look on Hannants.com. You'll find aftermarket decal sets, but just make sure you're getting the ones for a D. Don't get them for anything else other than a D, because we're going to be building a D. Okay, so thanks for watching that. When we start the build, it'll be very, very soon. But like I said, I just wanted to get this out there so that you guys that are building along with me, you can make sure you're prepared and ready. If you need any help or tips or advice on where to get stuff, drop me an email, nigelsmodelingbench@gmail.com. There's 2 L's in modelling, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so thanks for watching. See you all later. Bye for now.